Okay, hey there everyone. Welcome back to another live. Today I'm going to be attempting to learn CSS for 1 hour. So let's set a timer and let's see how much we can learn. So let's timer and where's 1 hour? Okay. So this is how I'm going to learn CSS with w3schools.com. You can just Google it and you'll find it. So they have all this introduction and all that, and I'm going to see how much I can learn in 1 hour. Okay, so let's get started without any further ado. And the timer starts now. Okay, so CSS introduction. What is CSS? So CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. CSS describes how HTML elements are used to be displayed on screen, paper, or in other media. CSS saves a lot of work. You can control the layout of multiple web pages all at once. External style sheets are stored in CSS files. Okay, so upon reading this, I think I'm getting an idea of what CSS is. Just so you guys know, I have prior knowledge of HTML because I'm preparing for the IGCSE, ICT exams as well. So you see in HTML, right? You see how we code everything. But when you code all that, you cannot really apply styles, colors, or you cannot really format what you do. Yeah, of course, you can have the heading H1, H2, all that, but you can't really change colors. You can't really add background colors. So because of that, I think that is when CSS comes in because it allows oh, yeah, like it allows external style sheets to be added and stored in CSS files. Okay, so CSS demo, one HTML page, multiple styles. Here we'll show you one HTML page displayed with four different style sheets. Click on style sheet 1, style sheet 2, style sheet 3, style sheet 4, links below to see the different styles. Okay, so I can see that. Okay, so welcome to my home page. Use the menu to select different styles. So it's green over here, it's blue here, white over here. So they have formatted this website a bit. Let's see what happened in style sheet 2. Okay, in style sheet 2, they have formatted it even more, as you can see. Let's go to style sheet 3. Okay, style sheet 3, a bit less colors and all that. And style sheet 4, okay, we can see that this is white, then the color of this and the font family or the that's it, the font that they have used is different over here. Then let's go to no styles. Yes, so you see, this is what a basic style HTML coded website looks like. This is what we have, but then when you add CSS to it, this is what you can make it look like. So when you go to different websites and you see the websites coded with HTML and you see the background colors and all this thing, I think they're all CSS that are used to code them, right? Okay. Why use CSS? CSS is used to define styles for your web pages, including the design, layout, and variations in display for different devices and screen size. Okay, let's break that down. So it's used to define styles. When we say styles, I'm thinking they are trying to mean colors, font sizes, different font families, background colors, and all that for the web page that I'm going to create, including the design of the web page, the layout, where which things are going to be. For example, in this CSS coded website, they have the option to choose which style sheet on top and then the content below so that I can choose the layout and the variations in display. As we can see, we have the same content, but we have variation in which they are being displayed, right? And screen sizes. So I can code this and I can open this on my laptop. And when I let's say use a public domain and I publish it, I can also use my phone to open it. But the formatting that you'll see, which is all going to be coded by CSS. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to understand or what I'm trying to explain, right? So we have a CSS example over here. So we have the body. So okay, in CSS, I think we have this body selector over here, and then the thing that defines the selector. I think we'll go into that. So we have the body. So the background color for the body is going to be light blue. So each one will have the text color of white and it will be center aligned. Then P paragraph will have the font family Verdana and its font size will be 20 pixels. So let's try it and see what we get. Okay, so we have this, which is center aligned and white background. So that means that is each one. This is a paragraph. Um, this is a paragraph. Okay, so the P. So this is the Verdana font family with 20 pixel size. And as you can see, the background color is all blue, light blue, which is the body. Let's see if we can change this to blue. And let's see, run. Yeah, we can change it to blue. Let's change this to um 200 pixels. Let's see. So you see how we can easily edit or format our website. Let me just make it back. Let's just go with 50 pixels, I guess. One blue is a bit dark. Let's go with yellow. Okay, but now you see that this is white and I can't really see it. So I'm going to try edit this. So my first CSS example is in the H1. So I'm going to add over here. First I'll change the font color to, let's say, navy. And I'm going to, okay, I can't really change its size. Yep, because it's H1 already. So let's run it and see. Yeah, so now you can see its color has become navy. So yeah, I think that is introduction to CSS fairly well. CSS solved a big problem. HTML was never intended to contain tags for formatting a web page. It was created to describe the content of the web page, like H1, this is the heading, P, this is a paragraph. When tags like font and color attributes were added to the HTML 3.2 specification, it started a nightmare for web developers. Development of large websites where fonts and color information were added to every single page became a long and expensive process. Interesting. To solve this process, the World Wide Web Consortium, or the W3S, so we have one W, two W, three W, so W3S created the CSS. Okay, so CSS removed the style formatting from the HTML pages. Now, I think what they're trying to say is that when they started with that, when we didn't have CSS, there was a huge problem because the people that were coding and the web developers, they had to put all of it into one code, which was very time consuming, which increased the cost of production and made the process very expensive. That is why the W3C people came together and created CSS. Now, CSS, you can easily code the formatting in a different page and then have it applied to a variety of web pages and all that, which eased their process. CSS saves a lot of work. The style definition are normally saved in the external .css file. You see, when you're coding HTML files, right, you usually save them as .html. So similarly, the style definition for CSS is .css file. With an external style sheet file, you can change the look of an entire website by just changing one file. What does this mean? With an external style sheet file, meaning that the CSS program or the CSS code is not coded with the HTML file. It's coded separately, externally. So if I just changed one small thing over there, it will change the look of my entire website if it's linked to my HTML. So I can't really play their video before copyright comes, but yeah, let's go. Guys, remember to hydrate, okay? Very important. Okay, let's move on to CSS syntax. A CSS rule consists of a selector and a declaration block, okay? So this looks like the selector. Okay, so I have the selector. Selector, I think, is the thing in the HTML element that you want to start. For example, my selector could be H1, it could be table, it could be body, it could be H1, sorry, H2, H3, or any of the H's. It could be P as well. So whatever element that I want to style, I could basically place it over there. The selector points to the HTML element you want to style. The declaration block contains one or more declarations separated by semicolons. You see, guys, when you're coding, right, it's really important to look at the syntax. Because if you get the syntax wrong, then your code is most likely not going to work. For example, I have one declaration over here, color blue. So the each one will have the text color blue. So this is the property and this is the value, and this is one declaration separated with another declaration by a semicolon. Can I draw on my screen also? Just a second. Uh, yep, over here. So you see, um, oh yeah, sorry. Let me just clear out. So this is how they're separated using a semicolon. Okay. So one declaration separated with another declaration using a semicolon. I think I'm done using this. Okay. Each declaration includes a CSS property name and a value separated by a colon. So the property that you want to assign, the value that you want to assign to a property must also be separated with a semicolon. In HTML, you must have noticed how we use equal to sign. Similarly, in CSS, we use the colon. Okay. Multiple CSS declarations are separated with semicolon, and declaration blocks are surrounded by curly braces. So we have our selector, and instead of adding like a circle, a circle bracket or a square bracket, in CSS you have to add a curly bracket, and that is the syntax which you cannot change, I guess. So in this example, all the P elements will be center aligned with a red text color. Okay, let's see if it follows the syntax or not. We have a selector, we have the curly braces, we have a property, a colon, and a value. This is one declaration separated with another declaration with a semicolon, right? Then text align and center. Yep, you get that. So example explain. I think I just did that. Again, we cannot really watch the CSS syntax video. Um, CSS selectors, let's go. Okay. CSS selectors are used to find or select the HTML element you want to style. We can divide CSS selectors into 5 categories. We have simple selectors, combinator selector, pseudo class selector, pseudo element selector, and attribute selector. This page will explain the most basic CSS selectors. Okay, let's see what they are and how they work. Okay, so the CSS element selector. The element selects HTML elements based on the element name. An example given here, all the P elements on the page will be center aligned with a red text color. So this is the most basic example of a CSS element selector. I have an element, I have a selector, and it gives. So basically, what I think what it's trying to say is that anything in P that I'll have on my web page will all be center aligned with the text color red. So whatever in this P is there will be aligned or applied to what is in my code. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to explain, but yeah. Then we have the ID selector. The ID selector uses the ID attribute, okay, ID attribute of an HTML element to select a specific element, okay. The ID of an element is unique within a page, so the ID selector is used to select only one unique element. To select an element with a specific ID, create a hash character followed by the ID of the element, okay. The CSS rule below will be applied to the HTML element with ID para equal to 1. I'm sure we can change this para 1 into anything that we want. So once this has been applied, this is how we'll write it in code in order to apply what it is. So we'll have hash para 1, text align center and color red. Let's try it before. Okay, anything else? Okay. An ID name cannot start with a number. Okay, let's remember that. Let's try this. I think let's see, what is there in CSS how to? Okay, okay. So we know this is our basic HTML this thing. We have a doc type HTML, we have a head. Now, one thing we need to also take into consideration or into note is that HTML styles in the page. We'll look at that in CSS how to, but just remember this. They are written in the style, okay? Inside the style, we'll have all the styles that we want to apply to the web page. And these styles are inside the head tag. Okay? Just remember that for now. So in the style, we have given a hashtag para1 and then curly bracket, text align center, color red. And then in the body where we'll have our P, we have given it this. So P ID equal to para1, hello world. This paragraph is not affected by the style. We can see that this one has been affected, but this one has not been affected. Why? Because we did not add id para equal 1 in this over here. Even though they are both p, the id applies only to a unique one that it has been connected to or linked to. Okay, that is why. So if I were to add a p id equal to hash para 1, yeah, then this will also have been affected. So now I can say the paragraph is affected by the style because I have added the ID para equal to 1. Okay, think we get that? Then we did this one. Okay, the CSS class selector. The class selector selects HTML elements with a specific class attribute. To select elements with a specific class, write a period or a full stop character followed by the class name. In this example, all HTML elements with class to be center will be red and center aligned. You can also specify that only specific HTML elements should be affected by a class. And okay, we'll come to this. So let's first try this. So we can see that, well, just a second. Yeah, sorry for that. Let's continue our CSS class selector. So we have our HTML basic format as we all know. Let me go. So as we said, it's in the head and inside the head, the style. So we first write a period and then the value or the whatever you want to add over here, and then you give it its properties. Now, if I want to apply this dot center so that my text is center aligned and its color is red, I'll simply go to the H1. I'll add class to be this, class equal to this, center this, and then it would tell me what's you can decide to put whatever here. I can even decide to put my name over here. Uh, you don't have to specify what is happening in the class, okay? So when I click run, you see that changed to my name. Now, why you notice that both of them have class applied, but one of them is smaller and one of them is bigger. Well, simply, if you closely notice, this is H1. That's why, and this is P. So P has the basic normal default font size, but H1 is intentionally big. I'm sure you have learned that in this thing, HTML. So if I made this H3, now you notice that it became a bit bigger. I can also add H2, forcing it to be even bigger. But remember that the smallest type of H is 6. Yep. All right. I think we get that. Now let's try this example where we have a specific element that is affected. So over here, we have p dot center, text align center and the properties there. Now you'll notice that even though we have added the class to be center, it is not really affected. See, the heading will not be affected, but the paragraph will be red and center aligned. Why? Because we have added the P. P stands for what? Paragraph, the same P over here. So it's telling that whatever the properties for this center is, only be applied to P. Now, if you were to notice, if I added, let's say put down H1 dot center, curly bracket, I'll do text align, I'll do text align, let's do it left. Then I'll do color to be, let's go with purple, semicolon, and I'll end it with my 2, 3, curly bracket, doesn't matter where I put it. Now, if I were to run this, you see, this is left aligned and with the purple color. Why? Because I added the H1. So I'm telling the CSS program to the center properties that are there, apply it to H1 only. And this one, apply it to P only. That's why you'll notice that even though they are both center, this one is different from this one. Okay? I hope you get that. Then we have an example. In this example, the P element will be styled according to the class center and to class equal to large. So let's see this one also. So now in the last example, we only had one, so we did not have this. But this time we have two. So we have one class to be center and another class to be large. And they are both formatting for P, right? So in my this thing over here, H1 will not be affected. Because yeah, it will not be affected because I have not assigned the class to affect H1. So even if I were to add this or even if I were to remove this, it will make no difference. Okay, watch. Nothing happened. I've clicked it, nothing happened. Okay, now my P, right? My class is center. So if I've only applied center to it, then only the formatting for center will come. So it will be center and red only. As we can see, center and red only. But over here, I'm adding two classes, center, a space, and large. So now, whatever the properties for large is, and whatever the properties for center is, they will all be together applied to P, because I've added both the classes over here. So now that's why it says the paragraph will be red, centerlined, and in a large font size. Okay, I think we get that. Then okay, let's see, okay. The CSS Universal Selector. The Universal Selector selects all HTML elements on the page. Try it yourself. Okay, let's see. The CSS rule below affects every HTML element on the page. Okay, let's wait for it to load. Now you see, once I add this hash, the star symbol, right? I don't care what ID I put. I don't care what class equal to I put. This will affect every single thing. It will affect P. It will affect P. It will affect this P. If I were to add an H1 saying CPSCR subscribe, like, and comment, then this will be affected. Okay, don't close H1. Don't forget that. Then this will also be affected. Watch. See, I made it H1 intentionally. That's why it's H1. And yeah, okay, I had H1 here already, but yeah, doesn't matter. So you get it. So it will affect every single thing. You might notice that I did not add any class equal to or anything like that, but it still can because it affects every single element in the HTML. Then, okay, CSS grouping selector. This is basically the grouping selector selects all elements with the same style definition. Look at the following this, okay? It would be better to group the selectors to minimize the code. To group selectors, separate each selector with a comma. Let's try an example. So now you'll notice that H1, H2, and P, right? They all have the same alignment except for the color, except for the size because of the H1, H2, and P. Now, instead of writing this, no, I think let's do this. Okay, we have H1. I'm going to copy this. Yeah, I'll paste it. Yeah, no, paste it. So I'll change the H2 and I'll change this to P. Now you're going to notice that there will be no change to the code. See, I've clicked it. There's nothing happening. Why? Because I've what's happening is the same thing that we have discussed. This is being applied to this, this is being applied to this, and this is being applied to this. But if you notice, they have the same properties. Text align center, color red. Text align center, color red. Text align center, color red. So instead of writing it three times, I'm just going to remove this too, and then I don't need an extra. And I'll add a comma to my H1. I'll write H2 and I'll write a comma. I'll run this, nothing is happening because it does the same function. Now you notice that instead of me having to write this big, once I just add a comma in this, it simply becomes faster and less code is needed to write. So that is the grouping selector. So test exercises. Okay, let's do that. Let's start the exercise. The four exercises, let's do this. Set the text color to red for all P elements. So I'll have P here and I'll have color to be red. Submit. Great. Okay. Set the text color to red for all elements with ID equal to parav1. So if I remember, hash parav1 and my color will be red. Great. Then let's go to the next exercise. It's loading. Give it a second. So I think we'll end with CSS how-to today because I am a little busy. So I have to do other things as well. So let's finish CSS how-to and then we'll be done for today. Set the text color to red for all elements with class. Okay, class of what color, text, and you want the text color to be red. Okay, let's see. No, yep, correct. So this one was class selector. This one was element. No, this one was element selector. It was the second time. ID. Yeah, this one was ID selector. So set the text color for all P1 and H1 elements. Group the selectors to minimize code. So this is grouping selector. So I have H1, comma P, text color red. So color red, submit, great. So let's move on to CSS how to. So there are three ways to insert CSS. We have external CSS, internal CSS, and inline CSS. Oops, what did I just do? Okay. So external CSS, you can change the look of an entire website by changing just one file. Each HTML page must include a reference to the external style sheet inside the link element inside the head section. Okay. External styles are defined within the link. Okay, we have read that. So maybe we have, let's say, we go to a code and then we are like, okay, I want body to be, let's do color to be red, and I want text align yeah, to be right, and then that's what I want. So now I'll close. Yep, I've closed this. Now I can do this and I can have all my formatting written over here. And then I'll save this with the file name of, let's say, I'm not going to save it, I'm just going to write it. Okay, let's say the styles page dot CSS. This is how I'll save it in my Word document or my workplace. And then when I come to my style sheet or my HTML place, I'll add link rel equal to style sheet and href to my, so they have used my style.css. I will href to styles page.css, and whatever coding I've done here for the styles will automatically be applied to my HTML web page, the HTML coded web page. That's what external style sheet basically is. Yep, so basically what they explained. Then we have internal style CSS. Internal style sheet may be used if one single HTML page has a unique style. So, okay, let's look at it like this. We use external CSS when we have only one format or one type of style for multiple web pages. And we use internal CSS when we have to, when each web page is unique with its formatting and styles. I think that's a better way to put it. So yeah, we have already looked at this one in the previous example, so I won't get into it. The last one, I think, uh, okay, cascading order and okay. So let's do inline CSS. An inline style may be applied to a unique style for a single element. To use inline styles, add the style attribute to the relevant element. The style attribute can contain any CSS property. So now, inside the CSS, right? Maybe I have the same formatting when I'm doing external and internal CSS, but in inline CSS, we use it when we want to give each single element a unique style. So I want H1 to have this style and I want P to have a different style. That's when I'll come and use inline CSS. So basically, yeah, so you have your element, a space, then you add style equal to, and then you add your formatting, and then, yeah, that's basically how it works. Yep. So if some properties have been defined from the same selector in different style sheets, the value from the last read style sheet will be used. Okay. Let me use it like this. So no, oh, like this. So, yep, I do not want to open this. Let me go here. Just a second. Um, okay. Yeah, just give it a second. I'm going to explain it very soon properly. Okay, cascading. Yeah, so we are on cascading order. Let's finish this real quick. Let me click on the channel. CSS. Yeah. So let's say, for example, I have a web page like this, okay? And what I have used to code this web page, I have two documents. One here, one here. So I have my CSS properties. Okay, no, sorry, let me use my pen. So I use this this code to write my CSS and this one to write my HTML. Okay, so when I want to apply whatever I've written in my CSS to my HTML, I would add external CSS, right? But external CSS is not the only thing I've added in this. I also have another one where I've in my style, I have my internal CSS. Okay, and then I do not limit myself to this. I'll even close my style. Okay, in my, let's say, H1, I have my style to be this, which becomes inline CSS. So now let's say in my external CSS I gave color to be blue. In my internal CSS I gave color to be red, and in my inline CSS I gave color to be, let's say, navy. What do you think, which color is going to be applied? Is it going to be blue? Is it going to be red? Or is it going to be navy? Well, to answer this question, the answer will be navy. Now, let me explain why it's navy. So you know that programs are read line by line. So first, the computer will read this. Okay, external. External says color blue, so it will change the color to blue. Then it will go through all the lines, and then it will see that, oh, internal is telling me make color red, so it will change from blue to red. Then it's reading again. Then it goes to the element. Okay, it says that, oh, over here they have said I should make color navy. Then they'll make color navy. They'll swap it from red to navy. And then at the end of the day, you'll see that whatever you have text over here in H1, it will be in navy. So this is what we call the cascading sheet. So we have the order of importance as they have given over here. We have inline first. So if I have inline and I have external in it, that means that whatever in my inline is what will be displayed before the external. then external and internal. And if I have my browser default and have internal and external, of course, since internal or external are above them, they will be displayed first. And okay, that's it for CSS how to. So we did CSS home, introduction, syntax, selectors, and how to. I think we can end. How much time did we use? Wait, don't tell me we did not on this. Okay. Okay, so we used 35 minutes to study CSS for today, which is not bad.